Hello, it's the 30th, the penultimate of the end of my challenge. If I get distracted, it's probably because my daughter is just outside the window. I'm in the summer house outside in the back garden, but my daughter is desperate for me to make biscuits and gravy. So I'm going to make them for lunch, as it were. And yes, I'm hoping we've got a few things we need to do around the house, but we've got a friend coming over this evening, and I think Joel's girlfriend's going to be coming over as well. So it's going to be a full house tonight. But yes, I wanted to come out and just have a little bit of space in order to sort of share with you the scriptures that have come this morning. And do you know what? I love both the scriptures. I'm not entirely sure I can see the connection, but let's just read them and see where this conversation goes. Because I've just prayed and asked God to sort of help me to sort of have insight into how the scriptures might work together. So we'll see where that goes. But anyway, I should say that it's a lovely day today. It's bright and it's sunny, but there's a lot of clouds. It's very windy. So if the door swings open, it's probably because the wind's pulling up. But anyway, I hope that wherever you're at, you're having a fantastic day, that you're having good weather. And if you're not, then I pray that you look to making the most of the time that you do have. Because I did say, we talked about last time, that God has a plan for us, and He wants to bless us. Even through bad things or difficult things, there's always a blessing. Things don't have to be perfect in order for God's blessing to be there. God can bless us in whatever situation. So if you're facing a difficulty or situation that's frustrating at the minute, then I'll pray with you. And I want to support you and encourage you. Just like you've supported me, I'm still dealing with knee injury, but I'm pushing on, and I'm looking forward to next week's work. There's going to be some challenging jobs, but I think there's going to be a lot of good jobs as well. Right, so we're going to start off with the first scripture that comes from the Bible app, and that comes from John chapter 13, verses 34 and 35. And it says this: Now I am giving you a new commandment. Love each other, just as I have loved you. You should love each other that way. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples. Now then, I'm just having a thought. I want to read the other scripture, and without sort of any break, and then just see where that goes. Because I had when I read the scripture that comes from the Daily Bread one, it's a completely different feel to it. It actually comes from Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verses 14 to 17. Now, Ecclesiastes is one of those books that intrigues me. It's one that sort of deals with human emotion, so much so, and dealing and grappling with the concept of what is the purpose of life and relationship with God. And so in Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verses 14 to 17, it says this. It's a bit of a longish one. And this is not all that is meaningless in our world. He's dealing with the writer's dealing with. He sees all these things that are meaningless. He says, in this life, good people are often treated as though they are wicked, and wicked people are often treated as though they are good. In another version, it said that the wicked prosper, and the righteous they don't get the benefits of that. They aren't blessed, or it's not apparent. So it's talking about, why do bad people succeed and good people don't? And he comes to this and he says, so I recommend having fun, because there is nothing better for people in this world than to eat, drink, and enjoy life. That way you will experience some happiness along with all the hard work God gives them under the sun. In my search for wisdom and in my observation of people's burdens here on earth, I've discovered that there is ceaseless activity day and night. And I realize that no one can discover everything that God is doing under the sun. Not even the wisest people discover everything, no matter what they claim. And this sort of, when I read it, it was that end part that sort of feeds my curiosity. It's this idea of the mysteries of God, that no matter how much we try to reason out and figure things out through science, through whatever, that really we cannot know the depths of what God is doing. Now, we cannot know everything that God puts his hand to. There are things that are mysterious about God. And that is very true. God, the mysteries of God, people keep trying to unlock, through their understanding of mathematics and science and medicine and all that. They're trying to understand the mysteries of God's creation. And the fact of the matter is, we'll never really fully know the depths of everything that God is doing. That's what faith is really all about. It's about trusting that God's got this thing organized, that he knows what he's doing, even if we don't. But I love the fact that it's this idea of the mysteries of God, and that we can't know. Well, is that true? Or is one of the other scriptures that I found sort of maybe suggests something else? And the other scripture that I found comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 7 to 12. No, the wisdom that we speak of is the mystery of God, his plan that was previously hidden, even though he made it for our ultimate glory before the world began. But the rulers of this world have not understood it. If they had, they would not have crucified our glorious Lord. That is what the scripture means when they say, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love him. I love that scripture. I will come back to that in a minute. But it was to us that God revealed these things by his Spirit. For his Spirit searches out everything and shows us God's deep secrets. No one can know a person's thoughts except that person's own spirit. And no one can know God's thoughts except God's own Spirit. And, here's the good part, we have received God's Spirit, not the world's spirit, so we can know the wonderful things that God has freely given to us. And it's this thing about no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind can imagine. That's what shows the depth of God's mystery. That's what is being referred to in Ecclesiastes when it talks about that, nobody can fathom all that God is doing. It cannot be known. And we constantly in our world, I think, try to figure God out. A lot of people try to figure out what's going on to write God out of the equation. I'm not sure that that's the right thing to do. God's part of the equation. They want to explain it in a way that eliminates God. But you can't. You can't take God out of the equation, because it's him who started the whole thing. The mysteries of God go beyond our understanding. And this thing, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind imagined what God has for those who love him. I want you to get this. If you love God and you've accepted him into your life, the death is not the end of everything. God has plans for us beyond this life. This life is it's a staging. It's our practice. It's our preparation. If you were in the Matrix, it's the upload that helps to train you for what's to come. And the fact of the matter is, when this life is over, when God creates a new heaven and a new earth, as we've talked about in Revelation, and Ezekiel and John have both seen through vision, there is plans of it. It's like getting back onto track. The whole of history that we understand it is a sidetrack. God created the earth and he created man in the Garden of Eden. Man messed it up. We screwed up the whole process. Then he had to sort of sidetrack and say, okay, well, let's get this thing back on track. And did a whole bunch of things throughout the Old Testament, sent Jesus as a representation of everything that he was going to do to mend that relationship that we have with God. And then we have to play it out to the very end. Once that is all done, then, believe it or not, we get back to what he originally planned. And there's no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind can imagine what he has planned for those who love him, who are called to him. That should excite you. It excites me. But it's this whole thing that, nobody can know my thoughts except my own spirit. God's thoughts can't be known except by God's Spirit. But we have God's Spirit living in us. We have access now to God's mysteries. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to understand all these mysteries. What it does mean is that we have access to those. And I'm wondering, what is the key that unlocks those mysteries? Well, we have to go back to that first scripture, I think. This is what I'm thinking. So now I am giving you a new commandment. Love each other, just as I have loved you. You show love to each other. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples. Perhaps love is the key that unlocks those mysteries. It was through love that God sent Jesus to die for us. It's through love that we accept him into our life. And it's through love that he calls us to be his own and to demonstrate that love to others. Love here is the key to understanding God's mysteries. Love is supposed to be the identifying mark that shows who we belong to. Because a person can't say they love God and then treat their brother or sister with contempt, with malice, with greed, with horribleness. No, love is an identifying mark. It's an indelible mark on our heart, on our mind, on our spirit. And it shows the world who we belong to. And it shows God just who has access to all the mysteries that God has in his heart and his mind. Maybe that is the link between the two scriptures, is to understand that God has a depth beyond human understanding, and that the only way that we can know or even begin to contemplate the mysteries that God has hidden is by having access to them with the key. What's the key? Love. The key is love. It's the most powerful force. It's more powerful than hate. If they were the other two, if hate was darkness and love was light, which it's often referred to, There's no darkness that can overcome light. Light, as dim as it might be, however dim or however bright, it pushes back darkness. Darkness is not more powerful than light. Hate is not more powerful than love. That's why love is mentioned so often in the New Testament and throughout the Gospels. It's love that is the key to unlocking the mysteries of God. Now, I'll just leave it there because that's the only way that I can reconcile the two scriptures. And actually, I think it reconciles very well. I hope that this makes sense to you. And it's perhaps maybe that's the call for me today, is to demonstrate that love, is to unlock some of those mysteries of God by showing my love for one another, my other fellow Christians, fellow human beings, my family. I need to show that love more. So that's my challenge today, to demonstrate God's love through me to others. You want to join me in that challenge? I hope so. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow. I'm sorry that the light's been going in and out, but the clouds are going over and it's stopping the light, so it makes it a bit more difficult. I don't have the light on above me either. I should have. I'll see you tomorrow for the final day, and I trust you all will keep well. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.